I mocked up a couple of pieces of paper here, printed them out on my printer to show you where I'm thinking cutting some new vent holes. Same width, same radius. These are a little bit longer than these. The originals, these are 8 inches long, 2 inches wide. This is 2 inches wide and 9 3/4 long to give the space that I need. I did the same on the other side just to preserve some symmetry. That is what I'm currently thinking to make room for the engine. And that's all that will be needed. Hi, how are you? My name is Dan Dulac and welcome to my channel where I am building a V10 powered Ultima Evolution convertible. If you're new to my channel and just discovered this video, this is episode 26 and I've got 25 other episodes where I document arrival all the way through the progress to where we are today. On this video, we're gonna finish weld the remainder of the exhaust system. I've gotta weld up an exhaust hanger or two, and I'm also gonna start cutting the rear clam, the rear body, to start to get this rear clam to close over this engine. Fingers crossed that goes okay. So without further ado, let's get after it. All right, I have got this entire exhaust system tacked up and ready to burn in. So I'm super excited to show you guys where I landed. Let's take a look. Okay, here she is. I decided to change up my tips a little bit. I found these on eBay. They look a little bit more finished and they actually have some built-in resonator, little short resonator in there. So might need it. I don't know how loud this thing's gonna be, but I bet it's gonna be pretty loud given it's short and no mufflers. Only thing that might help is the catalytic converters. That might help quiet it down a little bit. Got it tacked up, all fits, and ready to burn in here. And I managed to get it exactly centered. You can see the center line on the chassis. One of the reasons for this design and putting some V-band clamps right here is it'll be easy for me to change out and build different exhaust tips. And I've got a couple different ideas for some tips. Plus it's easy to change the width. You could spread these out a little bit and just change the rear look of the car depending on what I want to do. So I think what I'll do is fabricate a couple different tips. I've actually got some 3.5 inch pipe that I'll use, and I've actually got some longer resonators that I might come out of the rear at an angle. That will be pretty cool to change up the exhaust tips over time. Another idea I had as well, and one of the viewers actually mentioned this, rather than going down and out, simply turn this up and come out the top of the body of the rear clam at an angle. Come right out the top side, a la Porsche 918 like. So I'm actually thinking about doing that, although I've got to get my spoiler mounted because obviously with exhaust tips coming out here on the rear clam, it's going to be blowing on the underside of the spoiler. And I don't know in relation to this if the spoiler is going to hang over the rear, be more inward, don't know yet. So that might be another idea too. Build a set of exhaust tips that turn up and then exit out the top of the clam, making it even more crazy. Well, let's burn this thing in. I think it is time to finish weld the entire exhaust. I'm pretty happy with it. It's spaced out perfectly off the frame, centered in the frame, and it is ready. So let's burn this baby in. All right, I've got this exhaust prepped and ready to go. As you can see, I've got some masking tape just to seal off these joints to prevent any argon leakage. I'm gonna back purge this as I weld it. I'll go through gas pretty quick. So just try to preserve as much as I can. And as I go, I'll start down here, just remove the tape and should be good. Got my purge supply line here, my vent hole there, and I'll be using a couple different size wire. 1/16 wire for, call it the bigger overlap joints where I have a little bit of gap to fill. I find the the thicker wire helps that a little bit. And then on these tighter joints, I'll use this is 035 wire. It's pretty thin, don't need a lot to do those joints. So that is the plan. Let's get the party started, finish this up. Rear exhaust is all welded up and mounted on there proper. Came up pretty nice. I've got basically winded up with a single exhaust hanger back here. I just made up a little bracket and it's sitting on a rubber isolator that I picked up. And you'll notice it's bolted to the transmission. There was a spare screw hole, bolt hole in the transmission. So when this engine rotates under torque, the exhaust will rotate right along with it since it's bolted and hung directly from the transmission. You can also see, the hanger there as well. So gives it some nice cushion, some rubber dampens and isolates any vibrations and does give it a little bit of wiggle room to go along with the flex sections. So it's nice and firm in place. Also picked up a couple of 3.5-inch mass air filter housings. You can see the MAF sensor underneath. They're a little bit long. I may end up having to change out the rubber tubes here, put in something a little bit shorter, maybe something at a 45-degree angle. But I've got to figure out what my air intake setup is going to be here to get some cool air to that intake, given it's right above the exhaust. So this exhaust system is now ready to disassemble, and I'm going to take it over to my coaters and get these things ceramic coated. I don't know what color yet, so comment down below if you have any cool preference in mind that you think might go well with this. So the color scheme for this car is going to be silver, orange, and black. Black, more accent black than primary. And then of course I've got the black intake plenum here with silver. So I'm thinking maybe a titanium color here. I don't know, maybe a bronze, I don't know yet. So comment down below if you have any thoughts on what color I should ceramic coat these things. I'm thinking the color I want to be subtle, but also cool, if you know what I mean. So anyway, let me know in the comments down below. I might have the tips coated flat black and then the rest maybe a titanium. That's what I'm currently thinking, but again, let me know in the comments down below what you think. All right, I've got this clam, rear clam marked up, ready to cut. So we're gonna cut an opening in the fender well to get clearance on the header as well as on the intake plenum, kind of on the front edge of the clam. We're gonna trim that too. So let's get after it. Let's give this a test fit. See if this trimming did the trick. This off. All right. Okay. Now we're hitting on the throttle body, which is what I expected. So we made it closer. All right, well, now we know. This is gonna be close. I think with that throttle body clear, I think I've cut enough here. Well, that will actually fall right over the intake. So that could be good. Let's see if I can show you exactly where we're interfering. Yeah, no surprise. That's the spot right there. So I'm thinking what I could do is I could cut another vent hole, just like these ovals. I could cut right in the middle, and that I think would give plenty of room there. Plus it would kind of keep the symmetry of the vent holes as well. On the other side, let's take a look. This side isn't as bad because again the throttle body's inward instead of outward like it is on the driver's side. So I don't think this side's going to require too much. So I could just put again another vent hole there just for symmetry if I wanted. And here you can see the spacing again because I'm hitting on the throttle body. That's not coming all the way down, but I think that will come forward enough. Once I make room, it will clear that. If not, just trimming up a little bit higher, I think will do it, but pretty close there. And then here's where I trimmed the inner fender liner on the driver's side. I've created some clearance there for the exhaust header. That rearward cut, I might have to cut a little bit more, and then I will put some heat shield on there. As long as I've got about an inch or so clearance, I think with some heat shield that'll be just fine. All right, and as far as the exhaust cutouts go, those are looking pretty good. Again, those are adjustable. I can swing those inward or outward as well to get the look I want. Sweet. All right, we're getting closer on this clam. Little by little, we're getting that thing more and more close. So I'm going to take now the clam off, and then I can get the exhaust system off to the powder coaters to get it powder coated. So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And on the next episode, we're going to jump into the wiring. I've got some Motec goodies, and we're going to start wiring up some Motec electronics. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you then.